Welcome to the Near Memo, a weekly conversation about search, social, and commerce. What happened, why it matters, and the implications for local. So how do you determine, let's talk about tracking a little bit. How do you determine which of these components are actually driving engagement / conversions, visits to your site, what have you? I mean, talk. You're big on tracking, obviously, UTM tags and everything. So in fact, that's UTM should be your middle name, Claire UTM Carlisle.
It is. I've changed it.
So tell us about that and what
otherwise known as Udum.
Udum, yes. Claire Udum Carlisle. Yes.
Claire Udum Carlisle.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a small British village. Udum. I live in Udum.
Udum. And if, obviously there's some things that we will not know unless we go and do some user research and some eye tracking and actually have sort of qualitative conversations with people. We won't know.
Which mysteriously nobody seems to have done around the knowledge panel, right? To your knowledge? And Mike...
apart from what we were talking about, the pinball stuff from Nielsen Norman, I haven't seen anything else.
But that's pretty old, is it not?
Yeah, 2017, 2019.
Oh, well, that's not as old as I thought it would be. But anyway, okay. Let's talk about...
David did uncover some behavioral stuff vis-a-vis the pack that a fair percentage of people actually clicked on listings, went and saw the local... The
knowledge panel?
The list, whenever Christ getting...
The local finder.
The local finder,
click
yes.
Through the local finder... But even though they did that, and then they may scroll through the top 3 or 4 results, but they still typically chose in the research that he did recently, they typically chose one of the top 3 results. They drop off was very steep to result 4 or 5, even though they were clicking through and viewing the local finder. So they'd click 1, 2, or 3 in the pack. They'd come into the local finder. They'd scan 4 or 5 results, and they would typically click on one of the first 3, although not always. 4 or 5 had some fighting chance. Unlike the organic, where when they made it to organic and click, they could click anywhere down as far as 5. They didn't stop at 1. They went, and frequently, the second or third choice was the one they picked. So being ranked in the top 4 or 5 on organic was much better than being ranked 4 or 5 in local. So we have some of that data internally.
But these individual elements of the knowledge panel, we don't really have visibility on. So tell us a little bit about best practices for tracking. What is your advice around how you track without sort of the mechanics of setting up UTM codes?
A fairly typical setup, in my mind, would be what data can we get from Google Business Profile, so Google My Business. So what was insights became performance. Some of the measurements fell away from it within that, but those weren't things that I was necessarily very interested in because KPIs in terms of how many driving requests, how many click to call, how many clicks through, because there's lots of places that we can add links, lots and lots and lots of places. So add links from all of the places that you can and add appropriate UTM tracking so you can see where they've come from onto your website. So we've got the metrics that we can pull in from Google Business Profile. The ones that I mentioned all show intent to visit or intent to purchase or intent to do something useful. And then we've got all of the data that we can get on our websites then. So we have got people that come from Google Business Profile that then go on to take an action on our website, which we see as an intent to buy. So that could be click to call, click to email, it could be a purchase, could be a download, it could be a sign up. So that is a very rich, in terms of data, we can get a lot. We can understand not only how much in total Google Business Profile is driving, we can also understand which parts. So should we be investing in keeping our products up to date? Should we be using posts? Should I be updating my ticket link, etc., etc.? We can answer all those questions as soon as we add UTM tagging.
Well, and what's your answer to that? What's your answer to that? You're tracking all these different components of the profile. Where would you focus if you could,
So
if you didn't have all day to
Yeah,
if you couldn't devote your life to this? Yeah.
yeah. Oh, well, obviously primary website link, which is, make sure you link to the correct version, HTTP or HTTPS, ideally HTTPS, www, non-www. Make sure it is going to your canonical URL that you want them to go to. That sounds obvious, but I still see a lot of broken links and links that go through redirects. So that's the most obvious one. And then beyond that, I see appointment links driving a lot of traffic. I see traffic and revenue from Google Posts, and I see traffic and revenue from products.
So 2 questions. One is
tickets. Sorry.
I was just going to ask you about tickets. Tickets is a new call to action.
Yeah. So wow. Obviously, that's just like, if you think about, our AdWords is really doing well on brand name search, then obviously your tickets link is also going to do really well in terms of revenue. So yeah, if you make sure that you are making sure that it's your tickets link, rather than one of the 6,000 third-party providers that you work with, and then UTM it out as well.
Is the tickets feature when does Google choose a third-party link versus yours, and how do you control
It doesn't.
That?
It's Google says at the moment, just trying to see, there's a little, when you look at the tickets listings, there's a little I at the top, and it says that Google will always give precedence at the moment to the first party, to the actual entity in terms of their ticket link. And then you normally see 2 or 3 providers underneath. And then if you click on that, you'll see however many providers that you work with.
So this is not directly controllable. It's one of Google's many decisions.
It is direct. Okay, yeah. No, you can't control who shows, but you can control your own link. Now, at the moment, I think I was part of the beta program testers for this product. And the idea initially was to be able to add multiple tickets. At the moment, you can only add 1 ticket, but previously I had added multiple ticket types. But anyway, there's one at the moment.
So that's an NMX field for your industry for ticket link.
If you've got it, you'll see a tickets link in the NMX. There'll be a lozenge which says tickets on it.
And one assumes that there's an API for that as well, for tickets URL?
I think it's all tied up in the Things to Do platform. I think it's all coming from the same. I don't really understand, because there's also experiences. I don't totally understand the infrastructure at the moment. But
so
yes.
Compared to main website links, what percentage of links come from all the other sources? And of those, which is the most significant ones, 1 or 2 you see, as opposed to all of them, obviously.
What was the question? What
percentage of these secondary links come
compared
to website links?
I'd have to have a look. I think primary website is still, I don't know, up to 90%.
90%, yeah. That's what I was wondering.
But the thing is, with a lot of those secondary website links, products, tickets, it is one and done. Yes, you are going to need to check it once every 4, 5, 6 months if you're changing your URL structure or you're not choosing the correct evergreen products. It's not like you must post every week and you must have a Google post. It's not that at all. Have a special offer that lasts a year. Have a special offer that lasts 6 months. Google posts are visible in your profile for, 100 years or something, aren't they? So it doesn't need to be this massive content strategy. It means just get it right, put them live, and it's like a cash cow that will just slowly, ideally, continue to create leads and revenue.
Thanks for joining David, Mike, and Greg. To stay on top of the latest developments in local, subscribe to our newsletter at nearmedia.co. We'll see you next week.